The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Is brought to you by Lloyd's Construction and Consulting, providing first-class construction services on 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
Well, it certainly seems like an obvious, blatant public attempt to run away from an ETN challenge. I mean, that's what it sounds like. I beat him to death in ETN last week. He's still screaming about that. I can't even enjoy ETNs anymore because he goes so doggone crazy when I win them 2 out of every 3 weeks. And then the Knicks went down to Atlanta, and there was such optimism and such high hopes here after, New York was able to salvage a split out of their 2 home games. It was going to be a takeover in Atlanta. Oh, Knicks Nation was going to show up, and they were going to get right back on track in the series. And then reality occurred, and the Knicks went down to Atlanta, and a team that is about 10 times better than them whacked them by double digits 2 games in a row, and it's just too much for Dan Hicken. He's headed for the hills, afraid to play ETN.
That's not inaccurate.
That's a fact. That would be the headline. Afraid to play ETN, Hicken heads for the hills. So, unfortunately, you'll have to wait till next week to hear a little riff of Tennessee whiskey.
We might just end the 10-minute drill with it.
We should. I like that song. It's
a lovely song.
Oh, it's just very, yeah.
I'm a fan.
It'll put you in that MSL mood too now.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
It does. It's a twang. It takes me to my Tennessee roots, quite frankly.
Sure.
So I'm looking forward to hearing that. Meanwhile, there'll be no competition, only genius.
Only love.
As we kick around some of the hot topics in sports. Proclaim myself genius.
You talked about
myself.
It in the 6 o'clock hour.
I do. I press it that way.
We love a Cinderella story, and it's not always that the Cinderella story comes in our own backyard, but we had it this weekend in the ASUN tournament. JU 3-15 in conference play runs through to claim the ASUN title. They're off to Columbia for NCAA regional play.
Really is unbelievable. They were 0-13. They start in the conference. They started terrible in the regular season as well. Bunch of injuries and other setbacks and COVID protocol issues. I mean, the fact that they had to rally to just make the tournament, first of all. And then once they got into the tournament to do what they've done, to win their 2-game series, they beat the top seed Liberty a couple of times along the way. That's who they beat in the final. The tournament was at UNF, and JU and UNF, when we left you on Friday, were both in the winner's bracket. Well, UNF, jumped on them. They had them a 4-run lead in the last inning, and JU stormed back and won that game. And so they were in a perfect position where Liberty would have to beat them twice. Quite frankly, Liberty, the top seed, you thought that might happen, and it didn't. JU won the game. They got some great pitching performances. Kid from Parker threw about 8, 1-run innings in the finale. JU's got a lot of local talent on their team as well, and good for Chris Hayes and the Dolphins. Chris Hayes is Mr. JU, man. He had that milestone last, was it 1,000 games with him? Maybe even more.
Yeah.
As a coach and a player. I remember Chris Hayes playing at Inglewood High School. I mean, so he's local through and through. He was a player at JU and a great one there when he played for Coach Terry Alexander. And, when Chris Hayes was a JU Dolphin, JU was a ranked baseball team. It was the goal every year was to go to the tournament and try and make the first College World Series in team history. This was not a team that you thought any of that about, and yeah, it really is. It's like beyond Cinderella. Cinderella is too big a girl for this JU baseball team to be characterized. They're Cinderella's intern is what they were, and yeah, to mow through without losing a game. And so they will, along with some other local schools, go off to the NCAA baseball tournament. It's off to Columbia, South Carolina. JU will be the 4 seed. They're 16-32. It's the worst record of any team that's in college baseball's national tournament. That's believable. The Dolphins will face Old Dominion on Friday at 7, a game you'll hear on 1010XL. Meanwhile, FSU is a 3 seed. They go to Oxford, Mississippi for regional play. Ole Miss is the number 1 seed there. FSU will play Southern Miss in their first game. You can watch that on ESPNU Friday at 3. Meanwhile, Gators will host a regional. Haven't heard yet on a super regional. They're the number 15 overall seed, so I would imagine if Florida does win their regional and they go on to the 2-team super regional, that it will not be in Gainesville, unless we have a slew of upsets, and then it could be. By the way, though, there's a tough out in the Gainesville regional. Florida's the number 1 seed. USF is who Florida plays first. That game's Friday at noon. You can see that on SEC Network. South Al is also in, but then there's Miami. Miami and Florida, we told you, we've documented how that baseball series has gone the last few years. Florida has won 16 out of 21, and they had won 15 out of 18 before they dropped 2 out of 3 earlier this year. So Miami, who came back in one of those games, it looked like Florida was going to go up 2-0 in that series and cruise again and continue their mastery. Miami had a comeback. Remember, that was the game that Kevin O'Sullivan left his reliever in, and he just got wild and walking guys and pleaded with his eyes to be taken out. I believe it was the Alamount kid. And Miami won 2 out of 3. So, who knows? Maybe go back that little extra confidence that came from that series win to start the baseball season might come into play when the Gators and Canes, I would think, ultimately meet up for that Gainesville Regional.
Jeff, you pointed out that the NBA playoffs to this point have not been terribly exciting, and that was probably partially explained why the seemingly leading news item in the NBA playoffs has been this insane explosion of ridiculous fan behavior. On top of the popcorn guy in D.C., now we had a fan in Boston Sunday night throw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving. And then last night in D.C., we had a fan try to run on the court during the Sixers.
Now, I will
game.
say this. The fan running onto the court, that just falls in line with all these idiots that go streaking at the Super Bowl. That wasn't necessarily like a violent, aggressive move.
Like a vitriolic thing.
It just kind of stands out because right now fan behavior, it's every night that there seems to be an incident of some sort somewhere.
By the security was Johnny on the spot. The guy got to the baseline and got taken right down.
Yeah, right down. They took him out of there. These guys will lose their season tickets. I don't know if that's really a penalty in Washington. Maybe you should want that to happen.
The guy in Boston has been arrested.
Yeah, listen, the guy in Boston threw a full water bottle, or at least it had water in it. It looked heavy at Kyrie Irving, or down towards Kyrie Irving and the Celtics, and it missed. And he got arrested and taken out, and he should.
It's just bananas.
Kyrie inflamed things a little bit after the game. He went to the amateur move. This never ends well. The opponent hates it. The opponent fans hate it, and it's such a petty, immature move. But the logo, stepping on the other team's logo, is just so 8th grade, man. I mean, come on, Kyrie. Now, that doesn't excuse throwing water bottles at the guy. No. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't help. I mean, here you are. You've just won the game. You've dominated. Was your 38 points not enough, Kyrie? You got to go step on the logo. And by the way, sometimes fans don't have the right to be mad at superstars. Boston has the right. Kyrie Irving screwed them. Kyrie Irving went to Boston and then at an event in the summer told the people there he was re-signing. He wanted to be a Celtic for life and have his number retired up in the rafters, and then turned around and went to the Nets. I mean, it was one of the biggest. It doesn't register here because we weren't paying attention. But when it comes to an athlete completely, sideswiping a fan base, what Kyrie did to Boston fans is about as bad as it gets. I mean, he literally publicly said, yes, I'm staying, yes, I'm coming back, and then turned around and did the opposite. So, in addition to being, a bit flaky, Kyrie, and unliked in some places, in Boston, they really got reason. And that doesn't mean you throw full water bottles at
No.
Don't get me wrong.
Out of line. Out of line.
The NBA story really is the injury to Anthony Davis and potentially to Joel Embiid. I mean, there are those that would tell you the Lakers and Sixers may be smart picks to reach the NBA Finals. The Lakers won't. Maybe they can beat the Suns without it. I don't think they can. Without Anthony Davis, the Lakers can't win. No way. And LeBron proved that the other day. Anthony Davis went out. The team was right in the game, and LeBron's not good enough anymore to carry a team over, another squad with 3 or 4 good players. Maybe he was 5 years ago when he beat Golden State, but he did have Kyrie and Kevin Love, by the way. But, LeBron and that Lakers team is not good enough to win without Anthony Davis. And those groin injuries, you know how those work, man.
Yeah.
Anytime you get those muscle pulls and strains and you don't know where things are headed. So him going down yesterday was a lot more important and painful, or 2 days ago, than the Lakers' loss itself. But the Lakers gave back home court when they lost. And then last night, the Wizards, I'll give them credit. They fight. If you got a team with Russell Westbrook on it, they're going to fight. And they beat the Sixers last night to stay alive 3-1. But the big news there is Joel Embiid. And Embiid has, had chronic injuries in his career, whether it's a back or an ankle or a knee. And not a dirty play, but he took a hard physical foul going to the rim last night, and he kind of had his hands caught on the rim, and his lower body got knocked out from under him. He landed awkwardly, and he stayed in the game originally, but he had to leave later with maybe a knee injury. I would not be surprised if the Sixers sat him at least another game. But the Sixers have no chance of winning without Joel Embiid.
No,
I hadn't paid much attention really until these playoffs to Philly. I've never been a huge Joel Embiid believer. I think it's because he's always hurt, and the Sixers haven't won, so it's hard to get completely on board. But we should probably have the Sixers a lot more on our radar because Doc Rivers, especially early, he honeymoons programs and teams. Right? Early in his tenures places, they go way improved. The problem has been getting over the top and winning, although he did win one championship in Boston. And the rest of the NBA playoff picture can be summarized with the West are good, and they're close, and they're fun series. In the East, they're all blowouts. We've had a sweep by Milwaukee over Miami, and then 3-1 leads for teams that are going to win their series, I think Atlanta, Philly, and Brooklyn.
Jeff, I know it may pain you, but it seems like the sands are quickly running out of the hourglass of Julio Jones' tenure as an Atlanta Falcon, as now there's reports that they're talking to numerous teams, Seahawks, Titans, maybe the Rams, although it looks like the Rams are out. According to Vegas, Titans now your favorite at plus 200, followed by the Seahawks and Patriots at plus 300. So it seems like sooner rather than later, Julio Jones will be elsewhere.
I think Atlanta fan has come to grip to this. Julio Jones had a great, my son, who's the Falcon fan of the family, doesn't, he hates
the mantle.
He hates it. He doesn't want him to trade him, and I think it's time for Julio Jones to be traded. I have no problem at all with the Falcons trading him. Look, Julio Jones has been there 10 years. They made a Super Bowl. They've only been a playoff team 4 out of 10 years, so it's not like losing a quarterback who's got you there every year. And it's been a while since Atlanta was really relevant. Julio Jones week to week grinds on you injury-wise. You're never quite sure if he's going to play. These are in no ways meant to diminish Julio Jones. If he walked away from the game today, he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And the trade up and what Atlanta got from in the Julio Jones deal has been worth it. Again, they went to a Super Bowl that they had won, if not for Kyle Shanahan. So, with all due respect to Julio Jones, it's time, and especially if you're going to get a first-round pick for him. The Falcons made this decision on draft day, didn't they? When they went Kyle Pitts instead of quarterback or another position that could help you, I mean, really, it's almost it's to have Kyle Pitts, Julio Jones, and Calvin Ridley, who don't look now, but Calvin Ridley has been more productive than Julio Jones the last couple of years. I mean, he has evolved into a verifiable number one receiver. So it doesn't quote hurt me, or I got no problem with the Falcons trading Julio Jones. I think they've gotten an awful lot out of him, and if you can get everything out of Julio Jones that the Falcons have gotten, and then get a first-round draft pick for him and some salary cap relief, I think it's well played. I think that is like textbook management of superstars. Julio Jones is in his early 30s. He already has a penchant for nagging injuries, hamstrings, and whatnot, and so his best football is 100% behind him. So this is, to me, this is a classic example of how to manage a roster and a superstar player.
Lastly, because it's of note when it occurs, although it seems to happen in this sport more than others, but anytime a team blows a 3-1 lead, it's certainly noteworthy, and it happened again last night in our always popular hockey, soccer, NASCAR.
Hey, 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 hey!
And just another gut punch for the fans of the Toronto Maple Leafs, who really put the long and long suffering.
Yeah,
a long time for that group.
Well, and at least it's not the hated Montreal Canadiens. Oh, wait.
That would be the worst.
Oh, wait, it is the hated
Well,
Montreal
they play each other in the playoffs a lot. No, what I'm sorry, you said they haven't faced each other in 42 years? I'm sorry.
And you had them 3-1?
You had them 3-1? Oh, no.
Oops. Yeah, I also saw they've lost, it's like their last 5 elimination games in the playoffs.
It's so bad.
And Toronto, at one point, was a proud franchise, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Toronto hadn't done much in my lifetime.
No.
But at one point, as an original 5.
They're certainly in the original 6 club.
Original 6, yeah, that's how hockey I am. I get
but
the original 5.
They had a great history, but recent memory have not been very successful. It's first 3-1 comeback in hockey got to go all the way back to the 2019 playoffs.
I watched a little bit of
It happens a lot in hockey, man.
I watched a little of the end of the Indianapolis 500. I got sucked into 2 sporting events this week that I wouldn't normally watch, and man, I have good luck when it comes to checking out. I'll give you 3 worldwide, actually. And I have good. This started with my soccer. Remember when soccer wasn't a thing, and I'd get so lucky with soccer, I'd put it on a big game, and as soon as I put it on, all the scoring would happen. Well,
You had an incredible knack of that for a while.
yeah. Well, I have a summer boarder living with me. He's known as my daughter's boyfriend, who's interning here in Jacksonville this summer. And I've told you, I've become more of a soccer fan, or at least paid more attention because, he is from South America, and he's a soccer fan. His passion lies with soccer, although he did tell me he got Gator football season tickets. So I gave him an attaboy for that. You're going to try and embrace American football and understand it. Meanwhile, he's, the sweet science of soccer has always been his favorite, when his favorite team is Chelsea, who plays in the English Premier League. And because of that, I've got to learn about soccer, and I'm not going to turn this into a soccer hour, encourage you to be a soccer fan. I don't care. Whatever. Do what you want to do. Me personally, at 8:30 on a Saturday morning, it's a fishing show or it's the Premier League, and because I now have a dog in the fight somewhat, I've adopted Chelsea because the kid likes them, then I follow them. Well, they won this Champions League final. This is This is like the second biggest soccer title that you can win after the World Cup. And the way this Champions League works, it's a really cool concept. But all these European professional leagues, La Liga in Spain and the Serie A in Italy and the French League and the English Premier League, all of those have their own leagues with superstar players, right? Well, then they take the winners of all those leagues, some others that qualify, and then they have a big tournament to determine the best professional soccer team in the world. The Champions League plays out to its finale. This year, it just so happened to be 2 of the English teams played in the final. One of them was Chelsea, and they won. So there we go. Shout out to Chelsea. A lot of soccer talk. All right, we may as well do NASCAR, soccer, hockey. Let me throw you a little NASCAR. Kyle Larson won the Coca-Cola 600 on a big day for racing. It was about a year ago where Kyle Larson was also in the news, and it wasn't for winning the Coca-Cola 600. You can use your Google machine on that one. Meanwhile, one of the real fan favorites in Indy racing is Helio Castroneves, who had already won the Indy 500 a couple times in his career. He's 43 years old and still a fan favorite. He's the guy that you might remember, even if you don't follow Indy racing. But remember that little that little fad of the dude would jump up and he would climb the fence? A lot of guys do it now. You see guys in NASCAR do it. But Helio Castroneves, I think, was one of the first to do that, and he was a real feel-good winner at the Indy 500 this weekend as well. So that's the 10-minute drill, gang. Beef, tell them what they won.
Our winner today is going to go home with a $25 gift card to go to Famous Automotive and Quick Lube. They can use that towards various services.
Okay.
Like oil changes. Could head out there Friday.
Okay.
Famous Quick Lube on Blanding. Pick up a Trevortown headband and rub elbows with the Elite XL Primetime. And you'll also get a 4-pack of voucher tickets for a Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp home game of your choice.
Well, that and that's what that means. The voucher means you can, pick the
pick
game
spot,
that best fits. We're not saying, okay, you got to go down there Wednesday. No, we're going to give you the opportunity. All right, how about call? My favorite number is number 3.
Oh, for Dale.
How about call? For my birthday, 3-3. It's all about me, Beef. Anyway, call it number 3. It'll be all about you, and you'll take home the prize pack. All right, when we come back on the other side, it's Football Fix. All the news that's fit to print and report, and even some that's not, from the National Football League, next on a Catlin Truck Accessories Tuesday.